Ferrari F40, 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 F40. How much do you really know about F40? This is a car that admired by so many enthusiasts around the world, and most kids that were born in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s had an F40 poster in the bedroom. I think not many people know the actual history behind the F40. So what is the story behind it? Well, I'm here to tell you the story. So let's start with the development and historical context. So the F40 was first revealed sometime in 1987. It was celebrated as the Ferrari 40th anniversary. Okay, that's when they originally introduced the F40. The F40 was also the last project that was approved by Enzo himself before his death in 1988. F40 is also the successor to the 288 GTO, and again, that is a very, very famous car, a very popular car. And the F40 was designed as a road legal race car to dominate rivals like the Porsche 959 and also the Lamborghini Countach. The motivation that aimed by Ferrari was to create the fastest, lightest, and the most powerful road car of its time. Now that you know why Ferrari created the F40, so let's talk about the technical specifications. The engine is actually known as the Tipo F120A with a 2.9 liters, basically it's 2,936 cc to be exact, twin turbocharged with the configurations 90-degree V8 mid-mounted engine. The engine output produces 478 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. Transmission, it's a 5-speed manual gearbox, no automatic options. Cooling is basically advanced intercooling system to manage the turbo heat. Performance for the F40 is 0 to 60 miles per hour at 3.8 seconds. Doesn't sound a lot now, but it was really, really fast back then, okay? It's a record-breaking for the late 1980s cars. The top speed for the F40 is 201 miles per hour, and that's the first production car to exceed 200 miles per hour. As we all know, the F40 was created as a race car. The frame itself is actually tubular steel spec frame with Kevlar, carbon fiber, and aluminum composite. You see all those knuckle ducts on the car. The front is actually for the brake cooling, the rear diffuser, and also for the vented hood as well. When Ferrari designed this car, their objective is to reduce as much weight as possible. Believe me or not, this car do not have power steering, no radio, no cassette, nothing. All the windows are made out of Lexan polycarbonate and strip interior. Lastly, the suspension and brakes. This car came with double wishbone with coil springs, anti-roll bars, and gas fuel shocks. The brakes are Brembo with no ABS. Design and features. The exterior and the interior. So for the exterior, this car was designed by, of course, the famous Pininfarina, and the aggressive styling with pop-up headlights, louvered engine covers, and massive rear wings. All the vents and grooves on this car, they're all functional. They're designed to cool the engines, the brakes, and all the turbo cooling as well. To further reduce the weight, Ferrari went to extend to spread the paint so thin that you can even see all the Kevlar wheels on the entire car. Now that's crazy. For the interior, all you get is a Spartan cabin with a racing Kevlar bucket seat. Minimalist dashboard and analog gauges. Bare essential, manual window, literally like whining, you know, and no airbags, die like a real man, and fire extinguisher as standard. Not many people know this. F40 actually came in 4 different variants. F40 LM, which stands for Le Mans, is actually a track version only with 720 horsepower, stripped down completely, purely to go racing. And of course, the LM also came with a reinforced chassis, meaning it's stiffer. It has also a larger turbo, racing fuel system for safety under FIA regulations, and aerodynamics enhancement as well for the LM version. LM was used back then to compete in event like the 24 Hours Le Mans and also the IMSA GT Championship. Then you have the F40 Competition. That's how you pronounce it in Italian. Basically similar to the LM but with slightly detuned power for a privateer's race team. Lastly, you have the F40 GT. Now this was built for the GT1 class racing with revised bodywork and reduced weight. And lastly, the fourth variant is the standard F40. This is the road version. And also, by the way, for the road version, we have two different variants. We have the European spec and we have the American spec. This particular unit is a European spec. What are the difference? Basically, in America, they have different rules, traffic standard. Therefore, the American version have a slightly modified front bumper and the rear bumper, and also the fuel cell are different. They have an aluminium fuel tank, so to speak, with a fuel pump built inside. As for the European spec, the front bumper is a lot cleaner. That goes with the rear as well. However, the fuel pump is external and it runs with what we call a fuel bladder, just like our GT3 race car. Having said that, that bladder needs to be replaced every 10 years, so that's pain in the butt. And also it costs a lot of money. So technically the European spec is a bit more troublesome. The F40 was originally introduced back in 1987. The production ran from 1987 to 1992. And total unit was 1,315, including all the prototype and all the racing variants that I mentioned earlier. And original price back then is only 400,000 USD. That's not a lot of money now, today. Sorry, still a lot of money, but not a lot if you know what I'm saying. But back then, 400,000 USD is a lot of money. Now, to put that in perspective, back then, 35 years ago, 400,000 USD is equivalent to today, 1 million USD. So that's the difference, okay? Having said all that, the car actually appreciated in value. Not a little bit, but a lot. I would say 3 times more. Today, this car is easily going around between 2 to 4 million US dollars through an auction, depending on the spec and the condition of the car. The LM model, however, now have exceed more than 10 million US dollars. Now that is crazy, too much money to talk about. Engineering innovations, right? Everything about this car back then is the pioneer, okay? So the turbocharging was advanced twin turbo setup for minimum leg and high power. Aerodynamics, it was wind tunnel tested for a stability at 200 miles per hour. Driving experience on this car, well, all I can tell you is this car is raw, unfiltered, no driver's aid at all, meaning there's no ABS, there's no traction control, there's no power steering, there's nothing basically, just pure raw mechanical part, just you and the car. Chassis feedback, direct mechanical connections between the drivers and the road. What I'm trying to tell you is the car is talking to you directly, okay? And for the soundtrack, I don't need to tell you, it's a V8 twin turbo with minimum sound insulations in there. So that's a good soundtrack, yeah. Why the F40 is so loved by so many Ferrari enthusiasts? Basically, it has a lot of legacy and of course the cultural impact as well. The F40 is a motorsport influence. It inspired the future Ferrari track-focused models like the F50, the Enzo, the LaFerrari, and the F80. Pop culture about this car, well, he's like a superstar, my friend. Features in films, video games like the Forza, Horizon, Gran Turismo, and media. How collectible is F40? Let me tell you, this is a unicorn. It's a holy grail, especially for Ferrari enthusiasts. It's symbolizing 1980s excess and engineering brilliance. Enzo Ferrari once said, "The F40 is my final tribute to the world of racing." The Ferrari F40 remains a benchmark for raw performance, purity, lightweight constructions, turbocharged power, and race-bred DNA cement its status as one of the greatest supercar ever built. For me, this is a timeless icon of automotive history. That's the F40 in general. Now I bet you know a lot more before we start the story. So now let's talk about our F40 here. We received this car last year, sometime back in 4th of November 2024. And in Malaysia, we have this law that a car over 5 years, we're not allowed to bring it in. Otherwise, you have to wait until 35 years old. So the F40 turned 35 years old as of last year, and that's exactly the right age for us to import the car into Malaysia. Upon receiving the car, obviously there were a few minor things need to be done. Immediately, we noticed that the car has an issue. We couldn't start the engine. Upon checking, my mechanic told me that the fuel pump is not working. So what we did was then we ordered the pumps from UK and replaced the fuel pump. Immediately the car fired up. So that was great news. We were pretty happy with it. As soon as I tested the car, I realized there's no power on the car. The car was basically running with NA. So I knew that we do not have a turbo. It could be the turbo issue, or it could be the wastegate, or it could be other thing. As of now, even making on this video, we still haven't actually investigated the actual problem because we have so many other project car working on at the same time. So we're just taking our time to work on this car. And next obvious thing was the PPF that came with the car was in pretty bad shape. We have no idea how old was that PPF. I reckon easily 10 years or maybe less. But the PPF was in such a bad condition. It was actually turned yellowish. On top of that, it was also cracking all over the place. And it needed to be replaced because it looked so ugly on the car. So that's exactly what we did. It took us 1.5 months. Really painful process. I believe we have about between 5 to 6 people at any one time, almost every day, working on the car, peeling off the old PPF. Every day we work on it between 5 to 6 hours. Eventually we managed to remove every single bit of it. So now you're looking at a brand new PPF by XPEL, completely covered with new PPF. Top to bottom, head to rear, everything. It looks really stunning now. The car looks great, I love it. And while we were doing that, we actually shot a few IG videos and posted it on IG, and many were saying, what's the big deal? Why don't you just respray the car? But many of you out there, you don't understand the history of this car, or rather the F40 itself. Why is it so special? It's not just about respraying the car from stone chip. This car has a reason when Ferrari spray this car with such a thin layer of paint to reduce the weight. So therefore, any original paint from the factory is always better than any of the shop here that I can find in Malaysia. And so I don't care what other people say, I'm gonna stick to the original paint. I want to protect the original paint. And that also increases the value of the car, you know. So we do our best to keep the car as pristine, as original condition as possible. Apart from the PPF, we also have some rusted grille just between the tail light. There's a piece of grille, so we have to get rid of all the rust and also powder coated the grille. So now it's nice and clean. It looks new again. In terms of the exterior, the car is pretty much done. Only left the seat, need to tidy up a little bit. And of course, finally we'll work on the fuel tank, the fuel pump, and also the turbo needs to be looked into as well. The future plan for this car is to exhibit this car to the public. Very soon, this car will appear at the KL Gateway Mall for the public to view and to appreciate it. How long will the car stay at KL Gateway Mall? We have no idea. Depending on the demand, we will then continue work on the turbo and replacing the fuel tank. Lastly, I hope to take this unicorn out on the road. That's the plan, but we'll see. But let us exhibit the car, let the public appreciate the car. We're just getting too many requests, too many people asking when they can take photo, when they can visit my garage. But sadly, my garage is for my private use. It's not open to public. So the only way to make this car available to the public is by exhibiting it at the shopping mall. Now that you know the story of the F40, it is time for you to head over to KL Gateway Mall to see it in the flesh.